Good morning, my friends, and I hope you are having a great day today. Welcome back to our next episode of the Talos Principle. Last time out, we completed World B1. Didn't get the star, of course. And we're now going to be diving further into our ancient Egyptian theme. On to World 2, where we have got... Oh, well, actually, do you know what? We're going to unlock the fan first. Because I tell you what, some of these puzzles literally require the fan straight off. So this would probably be a point where you would get a little bit stuck if you weren't... Ooh, yeah, that's not going to work. There we go, that'll do it. Right, fans unlocked. So yeah, if you haven't been hoovering up all of the orange sigils up to this point, at least getting a... Okay, so we've got a spare Z and a spare T in hand. But yeah, you've got to be getting pretty much most of those yellow sigils.
I see all. I know all. My power knows no bounds. And yet your will is free because you were made to be free. It is the very principle of your existence, without which the trials of this world would hold no meaning. To seek salvation must be your choice.
Okay. Well, with that introduction from Elohim, let's see what our Milton Library Assistant has to say. We've got Science Magic, Weight Loss, and Arcaday Journal. Science Magic first. Though the term science has only meant what it does to us for around 600 years, its practice far predates the name. There is evidence pre-Aristotle which indicates soothsayers, mystics, and the like may have employed basic scientific methods to predict the future and confound their benefactors. One anecdote concerns a palm reader who was exposed to two wealthy clients, compared their readings and found them to be identical. In 1948, the tendency to discover deep personal meaning in vague descriptions delivered authoritatively was given a name, the Forer effect. Today it is recognised in all contemporary psychological theory. That's interesting because earlier on in this playthrough, this is literally what the Milton Library Assistant did for us, right? Gave us a very vague outline, which basically applies to everyone. Weight Loss Blog, latest entry. If there's one thing that's good about inevitable death, it's the food. I'm going to have all the horribly unhealthy food in the world. I'm going to feast on jelly bananas like a crazy monkey on Monkey Christmas. And you know those muffins that have too much chocolate, they're basically melting? They're going to be my breakfast, and burgers for lunch. Going to have burgers so greasy you could use them to lubricate a whole factory. Triple bacon burgers with double cheese and extra onions and mayonnaise and ketchup and thick pizza with spicy salami and barbecue sauce and olives and jalapenos and sour cream. Well, you do you. Fascinated by Drennan's project, lovely conversation re the Talos Principle, Greek philosophy, relevance to current situation, suggested naming Project Talos. Drennan refused, but name seems to have caught on with the team. Tens of thousands of files coming in every hour, our whole history. Okay. Oh, we've also got an audio recording. Let's have a listen.
I keep having these dreams. Great empty cities, silent roads stretching for miles, the earth from space, all dark. Not a single light to guide me home. But if someone really came from another world, what would the earth look like to them? A wilderness? A wasteland? I don't think so. Even after thousands of years, they'd see a world shaped by our hand in every aspect of its being. They'd see the cities and the roads, the bridges, the harbors, and they would say, here lived a race of giants. These dreams, they scare me, but they also remind me that we built all of this.
if aliens did visit the Earth after some kind of cataclysm, they would not think that we were giants at all, because we haven't even mastered space travel, to be frank. They would look upon us the same way that we would look upon, you know, an incredibly primitive set of animals who have, you know, worked out how to use basic tools. Interestingly enough, This is the Work of Giants, and credit to the TikToker whose name I cannot remember for pointing this out, is actually comes from an Anglo-Saxon poem describing the work of the Romans, because in Anglo-Saxon Britain, the Romans left all of their monuments, which were gradually falling into ruin, that the Anglo-Saxons weren't able to maintain anymore. And that's kind of interesting, the idea that Anglo-Saxons were sort of living in this post-apocalyptic version of Britain that had lost the ability to do various technologies that they used to know how to do when they were occupied by the Romans. Okay, we're going to take that off the button, pop that on here, and we're going to grab you, and we're going to go bonk, and pop you on top of the box, and that'll get our first sigil. Bonk. Oh! That's our first sigil towards another ability, which is a guy holding up a tray, it looks like. Interesting. I recall there is something about, like, platforms that you have to walk on, or something like that, or you hold platforms that, like, a previous version of you can walk on, or something. What do we have here? We have... Okay. So I get I'm supposed to retrieve these sigils. I don't get why. Sure, the loud voice is telling me to, but why this world? But this world of his has no context, no purpose, and no foundations. I'm convinced there are answers here. If we look hard enough, we have to work together on this. Well, there's the sigil that I'm after. Interestingly enough, we are inside a building for the first time in... whenever I can remember. I think all of the Greek ruins are all in open air. It does give a very different vibe to the puzzle, doesn't it, when you are in a building. It does mean that for once we don't have to worry about passing a laser. It does mean for once we don't have to worry about passing a laser somewhere else. Okay, so we can open that. Okay, so then that's the last of them. Well, here's the thing. We could just use the jammer, right? Like, if we grab this, we don't need to use that. We can just go here and go... bonk, bonk. Oh, no. There we go. Well, that one was quite a straightforward one, to be honest. And it didn't even need to use a fan. Mind you, what did we get for that one? We got a Z piece, which I think would have been one of the pieces that you would need to unlock the fan, potentially, if you'd missed one of the earlier rooms. Okay, man on the moon. So that would suggest that I am going to be standing on the box. Oh, we can take and position fans. Oh. Okay, and without a fan, it's just a bunch of gears that turn around. Right, so this is just all fence. Well, the obvious thing to do is pop that on there and then that on there. Right, that jumps us in. There's the sigil. Oh, and we have ladders out. Okay, so what's the difference between using this one and using this one then? Nothing. We end up in the same spot. What if we take the fan with us? Okay. That was a strange one, but okay. We'll go with it. Where's the star at in this level? Okay, next one we have a red L. Higher ground. A set of keys in there. We've got a platform up here. Ooh, which allows us to see... Okay, this is quite a big one. Okay, we've got several jammers. And the puzzle's actually going to start with an additional emancipation grid. I don't think we've seen any puzzles that have had an emancipation grid as part of the puzzle. But we have jammer in here. We've got two guys over there. Ugh. Okay, let's start just jamming stuff that we can see from here. So we'll jam you because like getting the keys is clearly going to be a required part of this puzzle. So we'll jam that and we'll jam that one at the back as well. So that means this path is all open to us. So we can grab those. Aha! What have we got here? Terminated here. Worshipped the designer for days, then allowed the serpent into its heart. Final memory dumped. I asked the designer for forgiveness, then I may join him in eternal memory. I guess someone met their end here. Seems we're all connected somehow, like distant family relations. Who cares? Just be grateful we don't have to read anything more about our great designer. So we've got two of these. We're gonna need those to get out of sync, like that puzzle earlier, where we need them to be out of sync so that we can zigzag through them. But that's okay, so we don't need that one down anymore. We've also got a path in here, which looks like it should be a thing, doesn't it? So let's just have a quick look through that one to see what's in there. Well, interesting. That looks like a whole lot of nothing, except for the fact that we've got a window, which we could use to jam this thing. Okay. Like, that will be enough to get them out of sync with each other, which is kind of what we want, right? So, you probably still need to jam that, but you can come over here and jam that one for me. Which frees you up to come with me. Because you are going to jam that one until this one ends up right at the other side of the thing. There we go. So that's got that nicely out of sync. What I then need is that one to go for that one there, so that I can now take you Wait a minute, wait a minute. I'm gonna need these two to be out of sync as well, right? Because clearly after you get past those, you're going to need to get past these. And then we're going to need to have that one opened up, so no idea how that's going to work, to be fair. Maybe we're going to pick up an extra jammer somewhere? But at the moment, we've got 3 jammers. One's jamming that, one's jamming that, and we're going to need one jamming that. So that's all our jammers used. There. Ugh, those things always make me jump every time. Every single time, man. But yes, well there's the sigil, but we are 1 jammer short. Those pillars of relevance. Or perhaps there is a ladder somewhere. Doesn't really look like those pillars are relevant, does it? Okay. Thoughts. We can jam this through that window. That's an option. Doesn't really help us once we get to there, though. We've only got 3 jammers. And at least on a first reading, unless I've missed a jammer somewhere, which is not beyond the realms of possibility, of course, but unless I've missed a jammer somewhere, we have 4 gates that we need to get through. And we can't do our usual trick where we jam a gate from the opposite side to keep it open, because we can't get back to those to bring them with us, because there is a grid in the way. Can we pick up a jammer through a window? If we can pick up a jammer through a window, like that would seem weird to be able to pick up a jammer through a window, but we can give it a go. Okay, and then you open this one up. Yep, so now we have a path again. 1, 2, 3. No picking up the jammer through the window. Okay. Ooh, I might have to have a think about this one. So, yeah, we're 1 jammer short. Right, let's go and get our jammer back and leave it in a sensible place, but really sure what to do with this one. We've already taken the time to move the bombs out of sync with each other, so it would be a shame to leave this puzzle here. You can't use a jam to jam an emancipation grid. That would be just way too game-breaking. I mean, you can obviously jam it from up here, but there's no way... You know, you've got 3 barriers that you've got to get through, which you can't skip. Tricky puzzle, this one, isn't it? And there isn't a third jammer. Like, if there's a third jammer out here, then I'll kick myself, but doesn't look like it, does it? Well, okay. We are going to have to leave that one and come back to it. Let's move on. Ah, a bit of writing here. I have come to see that these mysteries are not all for his children to solve. Only the designer himself could ever truly understand the infinite complexity of his creation. I will gaze at his work and worship, says one with faith. Oh, is that all of them? Right, yeah, okay, that's all of them except for the one that we just got stuck on. So, let's go onwards. That was World 2. Next up, World 3. We have got fans and boxes and 1 set of lasers. We've got Progress Report, Osiris 3, and Just War Excerpt. Progress Report. The basic skeleton of the simulation is now running on EL. It's not plugged into the AI system yet, but in theory everything is ready. I guess the next step is to test whether the generated scenarios make sense, or do we wait for the iteration module? Osiris 3. The first wisdom, the scribe said to the dying man, is that as the world is made of 5 elements, so is the soul of man. Know therefore that in this life you are heart and shadow and name and also car and bar. Without all these you would not be a living being but a thing. What is a man without a name who cannot speak of himself? What is a man without a shadow who is not anchored to the world? What is a man without a heart who can neither feel nor think? What is a man without a car who has no essence? What is a man without a bar who is not himself, but like unformed clay? Therefore praise Osiris, the king of eternity, the lord of everlastingness, the eldest son of the womb of Nut, he who traverses millions of years in his existence. And the footnote number 1, here the translator is clearly inserting his own beliefs into the text. Just War Excerpt. Democrates' Altar, or On the Just Causes for War Against the Indians by Juan Ginés de Sepulveda, written in 1547 to justify the Spanish conquest of the Americas. The Spanish have a perfect right to rule these barbarians of the New World who in humanity are as inferior to the Spanish as children are to adults, or women are to men, for there exists between the two as great a difference as, I might even say, between apes and men. Terrible. Compare then these gifts with those possessed by these... Oh dear, I'm not reading this. Okay, right. Next. Let's go for We have a tendency to go for the one on the left first, don't we? Sunshot. We have got ourselves 2 boxes and a fan and a piece of text. Frogs are people too. From Urky version 99. Okay. Whoosh. Oh, I can climb the ladder, so I just need to send both boxes, probably. This time, I think I probably need to hold a box. And drop the box on there. And that will get ourselves a little tea piece. Next up then, we have got a red tea piece. I figured it out, now what? The only meaningful purpose is to bring about an end to purpose. Whoosh is the... I somewhat get the feeling, and this is maybe a controversial one, the naming... Oh, we can't walk against the fan. Well, that makes sense, because it needs to be strong enough for us to actually... I get the feeling that the names of these... Oh, we can get to that fan. We can't get to that one. The names of these puzzles are somewhat variable in quality, let's say. What am I trying to do here? Let's start by getting that block out of that room. Right. Bonk. And bonk. Good stuff. Don't think we're going to need that again. What's the... What's the purpose of the fans blowing this stuff around, though? Oh, hang on a minute, hang on a minute. Is that laser turning that fan on? Is that where we're supposed to be going? We're just trying to block this laser. Well, that's fine, but how are we going to do that? Like, we can pop a block up there. That allows us to detach that fan. Okay, great. There's a ladder behind that wall. That could be where a star is located, to be fair. Okay, well now that laser's... Now that's not going to do anything, so that's sort of fine. So that's not doing anything. I'm not really sure what the purpose of it... Like, it kind of looks like the purpose of these fans is to push a block around a path, right? But the block's just going to end up here. Well, well, that's not going to do anything. Could we use a block to jump over that wall, do you reckon? Alright, let's get you out of there. Yeah, that's fine. Without a fan, that laser doesn't do anything. Yeah, I'm going to go with no. That's not doing anything for me. Cannot climb the ladder backwards. Tricky one, right? How are we blocking that laser? How are we going to block that laser? We've got two blocks. We can obviously put the blocks on top of each other. But that's not doing very much for us right now. Unless a block knocking another block off its spot is anything, but it really doesn't look like anything, to be fair. We're at least 2 blocks short. Wow, are we going to get... Is this going to be a second puzzle for us to get stuck on in the same session? Tell you what, these Egyptian puzzles are a step up from the Greek ones, for sure. I mean, obviously, if there was a prism anywhere, this would be trivial, because we'd just get the red laser to, like, point at this prism, and then it would sort of... well, no, actually, no, because then the blue laser would come out of that prism, and it would meet halfway, wouldn't it? The laser would meet halfway. Okay. Damn. Yep, we're coming back to it later. We've got... Theory, this place is some kind of preserve for human history and we're the endangered species. Theory, trying to find answers will only bring pain. Ceasing to care is the only escape. Theory, this guy's 10 times more help than you, Samsara, so shut your face. Theory, we're in some kind of incubator waiting to be hatched. That's actually surprisingly close to the truth. If you knew how little you know, you wouldn't be exposing it here. We have got a yellow L-shaped piece next. Blown away. Do you know, considering there are 6 floors to the Forbidden Tower, we're not picking up very many red sigils very quickly at all. So, what have we got? Oh, there's the star. Oh, what a tease, what a tease. But it's like literally behind a thing, so we need to get a fan to blow us in there somehow, or come from over the top of the... building. I don't know. There's a block and a fan up there. Okay. So that's going to move the block down here for us. Fine. Pop the block onto there. Okay. Straightforward puzzle for us. But that star, though, that's a tease. Like, the star is like... That's the real puzzle in this room, right? Probably star-related, would you say? There's no red laser in here. Oh dear, right. We'll have to have a think about that one. Okay, next room. Eagle's Nest. Eagle's Nest. Okay. So we've got a ladder which lets us get in there. And a fan which is blocking us. So we need to block that. We need to block the path somehow. Okay, let's pop those in. Wait, what? Oh, it's ended up out here. Hang on. Can I drop it in mid-air? There we go. That'll be helpful. So, question though. That seemed to indicate that it was... that the thing had been broken. Okay, I don't think there's going to be a way that you can soft lock yourself in a puzzle, so I'm going to assume that both of those being in is the intentional... Oh, hang on. Can I break the beam myself if I stand on both boxes? There we go. Nice. Yeah, don't want to accidentally walk across that, but that is going to be a red sigil. That's nice. Okie dokie. Is that everything in this world except for the one that we couldn't do? That is going to be everything in this world except for the one we couldn't do. Okay, let's have a listen to Milton Library Assistant. Here's what I've been wondering whilst you were off carrying out commandments. You say that consciousness is some kind of functional system, arrange bits of matter in the right order and outspring sentience. That's all very well on paper, but if what counts is what something does, not what it's made of, then couldn't you and I design a series of tin cans on strings that qualifies as being conscious? Technically, if you had many, many billions of them, possibly. I'll send you a notification when the signposts start complaining. Are the tides and the ecosystem sentient as well? Any organised system qualifies. Well, no, because it needs to be even more complicated than that. I'm relieved there are at least some restrictions.
Do not think I know not the deceiver slithering through the hidden words. His wisdom is hollow and born of despair. Do not let him tangle you in his webs of delusion. Have faith in me, and his petty illusions will fall away like nightmares in the morning's light.
Okay, so he said, I'm relieved that there are some restrictions on what you're prepared to believe, and of course the alternative accounts are also ridiculous. You'd be forgiven by any reasonable observer for choosing the best of a bad bunch. How consciousness can be so intimately familiar to you and yet so obscure, I just don't understand. Don't mind him, he's just worried that if you ask too many questions, you'll start to see through his shtick. Stick with me, and the sky will quite literally be the limit. At any rate, I'd like you to think a bit harder about all this and get back to me. I'm sure there's still progress to be made. Yes. That sounds exactly like some kind of, natural language model, doesn't it? And not something that is in and of itself sentient. Well, my friends, that is going to wrap us up for this episode of the Talos Principle. We've done worlds 2 and 3 with a little bit of getting stuck to boot in there, but join us next time and we'll continue onwards with potentially world 4. We might try and get a red laser in world 3, but we'll probably continue with world 4. Anyway, join us next time. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.